Ladies, I know you're going to hate me for this, or maybe you won't, but men, stop fixing stuff.
No, no. She she wasn't ready. She wasn't ready.
Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Joe the Juggernaut, and welcome to my brand new video segment called Talk About It Tuesday. So as you can see, I'm sitting my butt down on the couch instead of at my workstation where I normally do business and YouTube videos at, because Talk About It Tuesday is going to be a new segment where you guys can bring me a topic to talk about. It could be anything serious that's going on in real life, men, things that you guys deal with and maybe nobody else understands. Women, maybe you want a guy's perspective on stuff. Or it could be just something funny, something stupid that you just saw, or maybe on another YouTube video, or something funny that your family member did. Either way, Talk About It Tuesday is going to be dedicated just to that. I'm going to take the lead today and give you guys the first topic, which is men, stop fixing stuff. I know, ladies, I know, y'all are probably like, no, you need to keep doing what you're doing. Men, we are so guilty. At least I know I am. And if you are not guilty of this, then I applaud you. But I am very guilty of starting a project around the house and not finishing it.
I am shocked. Shocked. Well, not that shocked.
It'll probably take my wife going out there to try and finish up the job, or her making a smart ass comment to one of her family members or our family members about me not finishing the project, for me to actually go out there and finish the project. It doesn't happen all the time, but yeah, it does happen, honey. I know, I'm sorry. I haven't started any projects recently, but what I have started, I did finish pretty quickly. Anyways, what I mean, ladies and gentlemen, about men stop fixing stuff is really more related to our relationships with other people. And this is a really, really tough thing for a lot of men because, as you know, we like to fix stuff. At least most men do. I know there are some guys that would rather pay somebody else to do something to get it done. But guys, I mean, we're just natural fixers. We just want to make things better. We want to improve things. Now, where that really comes into play in a negative fashion is when we try to fix the problems of other people that don't necessarily need fixing. So, case in point, I'll give you a perfect example of my relationship with my oldest daughter. She's 14. She plays volleyball, and she's in 8th grade. She's getting ready to head to high school. And as you may or may not remember, middle school is a very, very awkward and challenging time. You're really trying to figure out who your true friends are. You're really starting to dabble into relationships, like, actually dating, hanging out outside of school. There's a lot of stuff that's going on. And, what's unique about this generation is that they've got social media, right here. I mean, in their hand. And we really, at least my generation, didn't really have that growing up until we got, to 16, 17 years old in high school, where we had phones. But even at that, it's to no degree was it the way it is today. Any mistake you make, anything funny you do, anything provocative is just immediately blown up. Now, in most cases, it does blow over pretty quick. But as you can imagine, for a 14-year-old girl, it's like constantly walking on eggshells. And so, my daughter, like I mentioned, plays volleyball, and she's with a new club. She, is going through their challenges of learning each other, figuring out each other's personality, learning their boundaries, and really just kind of like forming, relationships there. And, the other day, my daughter came home and she was telling me about stuff that was going on at school. And I kind of just began to insert myself in making comments like, hey, well, don't worry about that. Or I don't even know why you did that. Or, if you would just do this, you wouldn't put yourself in that situation and you wouldn't have to worry about it. And that kind of just, it wasn't intentionally, bad. I wasn't trying to dismiss anything. I wasn't trying to say that she didn't make good choices. It was just my natural male, intuition to try and fix it. as the conversation kind of progressed, and this is after volleyball practice, she kind of started talking about what's going on at volleyball and relationships with her team and how things weren't going the way she would like them to. Conversations about her coach, and again, I just kind of kept giving my advice.
It's okay, honey. Don't worry. I fix it for you. Don't worry.
It ultimately, mind you, it's also Shark Week, right? So emotions are running a little high at this point. And she just blew up and really just had a kind of a breakdown, and pretty much, in different words said, I don't need your opinion, and she did start crying in the car and kind of just shut down. And I apologized, but the damage had been done. And it really just goes back to my point in that we got to try and stop fixing stuff. This happened to happen with my daughter, but it also has happened with my wife. And, sometimes when my wife is bringing conversations about work or her social life, I tend to do the same thing, and I am very notoriously unbiased. People always come to me for advice, and I give it to them raw. They know that when they come to me, I'm not telling them what they want to hear. I'm telling them what the facts are and maybe what they need to hear. If they want my personal opinion, then, maybe I'll say what I would do in that situation. For the most part, I'm just kind of like very objective. And it's just my perspective on my, what I see. With my wife, sometimes it becomes kind of one of those like, why won't you just be on my side? I'm sitting here trying to get my perspective again to fix things, to say, hey, ground yourself in reality. This is what it really is, not what your feelings are. And it doesn't go over very well at all. And so, again, just kind of going back to the theme of the conversation is we got to stop trying to fix things. My daughter and I now have this agreement where if she starts telling me something, I'll say, hey, are you open? And all that means is, are you open for feedback? And she'll say yes or no. Or I'll say, hey, are you looking for my opinion? While she's starting to express her feelings, and she'll say, no, no, not today. And that's my brake pedal. And I know, just shut up and listen. Now, guys, I want to warn you too, that shut up and listen doesn't mean just sit there and be quiet. That's really easy. It's really easy to give somebody the idea that you do not value their feelings or that you really aren't listening, that you're just shutting up, if you don't even acknowledge what is coming out of the other person's mouth. Again, I really encourage you to just acknowledge without expressing your opinion. So my daughter may say something like, oh my God, did you notice how so-and-so and this and that, and I'd say, yeah, I could see that. Because I'm really just trying to look at it from her perspective. I'm not giving my opinion, but I'm just acknowledging how she feels. Or she might tell me something and I'm like, I'm really sorry, honey. Is there anything I can do for you? Or, can I give you a hug? And that kind of changes a dynamic conversation because she just might understand like, hey, he's listening, he cares. Not I'm trying to fix her problems or tell her what she did wrong. So guys, I really do encourage you to kind of take a step back and audit your relationship with your kids and with your significant other. We tend to take a very simplistic approach. And as most of you will agree, that we're creatures of habit. And so we don't necessarily adapt things to certain social settings differently. We just kind of approach it one way. And that's how we do it, right? So I would just kind of encourage you to, again, take that personal audit, your relationships, and see how things go. Like, think back about a conversation where you might have just gotten into an argument and can't figure out like, God, like I didn't do anything. Like what's the problem? Like that might have been an instance where, again, you inserted yourself, when you didn't really need to. All you need to do was listen. So I've kind of learned that it has improved my relationship with my daughter a little bit because, again, we kind of avoid those unnecessary arguments, the back and forth, the invalidation of her feelings. And I think, a lot of you might benefit from that. It's just kind of sitting there, taking a look at it and thinking like, honestly, just ask, and women, I hate to say this, but a lot of times you assume that we know what to do or what to say and what not to do. And we really don't. We're very, very blunt and direct and simplistic creatures. And sometimes you just have to say, hey, honey, like, when I'm telling you how I feel, I just need you sometimes to like recognize, and that's going to be hard for us to do. But men, it's your responsibility to say, hey, I have a hard time doing that. I don't know how to, really know when to say something and when not to. And you have to come up with your own ideas. This advice is not one size fits all. It's not going to work out for everybody. But what I can tell you is that you kind of take this as a foundation, a building block of your communication, and adapt it to your relationship. For me, and like I said, my daughter, I'll say, "Hey, are you open?" Right? That's the tool that we use, and it works, right? She really, I think she really does appreciate that, because there is some times where she does value my feedback. That's pretty much what I want to talk to you guys about today, right? So Talk About It Tuesday. Feel free to leave your comments. What do you guys think? Do you think that that's a good approach? Do you think maybe you want to try it? Maybe you guys have a different perspective or a different tool that you guys use to communicate in situations like that you'd like to share with everybody else. So please just go ahead and leave a comment down here and let me know. We're going to be doing this every Tuesday, just talking about a different topic. And in addition to leaving comments about the video, feel free to leave a comment about what you guys want to talk about next Tuesday. What do you want my opinion on? Maybe eventually I'll bring on a guest so we can have a conversation. But I would really appreciate it, again, guys, if you just throw up a like, comment, please, subscribe to my videos, recommend it to your friends. Thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll see you next week. Peace.